So next I'd like to introduce someone who really needs no introduction for folks here, but Lark Galloway-Gillingham, the Executive Director of Community Health Councils. Few people have worked longer or harder on the issue of access to healthy food in our communities than Lark has, and she's really been a driving force of the work that the task force has done in South Los Angeles around developing the FreshWorks Fund.
Well, this has really been an amazing journey, and it's wonderful to see so many familiar faces along this road. Community Health Councils is this little nonprofit organization in South Los Angeles that's really working to try to improve the health of our community, to eliminate health disparities, and really get us to the place in this nation where we see health equity, when everyone, the life expectancy is equal. In communities like South Los Angeles, we're talking about as much as an 8-year difference in life expectancy. We were blessed with an opportunity presented by CDC to look at the rate of death, heart disease, and diabetes within the African American community. And we jumped at that opportunity. It was the REACH program, and it continues today. When we looked at how do we get our arms around this, it was really clear to us that the healthcare facilities weren't there and weren't going to be the answer. That we were seeing doctors leave, we were seeing MLK close. There was just an onset of disastrous decline in terms of those resources. And when we went out and we looked at the food resource environment, we thought, well, this is pathetic. But we knew that that would be a way of trying to keep people healthy. And we were fortunate enough to learn from the likes of Marva Smith Battlebay, who I think I saw in the room, who has been a pioneer in this effort far beyond the years that we've worked on this. And I can't stand up here today without applauding people like that who have really done so much to try to transform our community. When we started, it was about trying to keep the stores that we had. We knew that there were stores that had a monopoly, and that when we went in the stores and we looked at the food, it was brown bananas and green meat, and it wasn't what we wanted. But that didn't work. And we had in the rearview mirror this image of 1992 with this great commitment to bring in grocery stores that never happened. So we knew it had to be different. And we were fortunate to encounter people like Jill Hulan, who I don't think is here today, with CGA, and Butch and Gary, who I see in the audience from Unified, who said, well, let's do this together. Let's do this differently. It's not something coming out of downtown LA, nothing to say about the mayor's office. This is something that's coming from the heart of this community. And it was something that, the difference, I think, is that we all appreciated we had to understand each other's interests and agendas. And so we sat down and said, what's stopping companies from coming in? And one of the big pieces was money, really, at a time when you don't need me to tell you what's been happening in this country economically. And then Tina shows up. Tina and Charles showed up at our meeting and said, we want to be a part of this. Because Unified said, we're going for 4 to 5 stores. I said 4. They told me I was shooting too low, but I was going to start there. And they said, well, we've got to find a financial strategy. And the endowment came in. And before we knew it, it wasn't just about South LA. She decided we had to do a whole state. And so that felt right. And today we're here to talk about the start of something, not the end of something. This investment, this fund needs to continue to grow. All those people she brought in, thank you. We didn't have those people sitting at the table. They're now at the table. I believe we can make this really happen. And I will really be celebrating and wanting to see all of you there when the first door opens with this fund in South LA. Thank you.
And so next, I would like to introduce another important industry partner who has also been with us since the beginning, Ron Fung, the President and CEO of California Grocers Association.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Tina. The good thing about coming later in the program is the smart people already said all the good things, so I can be very brief. But I can recall going back a couple of years when we were sitting in the Unified Conference Room with just a few of us there saying, how do we do this? How do we look at this issue and solve a problem? And Lark was there, and Tina, and many others. And from that point to today, we've come a long way, babies, and I'm really proud of the partnership and being a part of the partnership. California Grocers Association has been around since 1898, so we've got you by about 24 years out, or something like that. But our membership has changed over the years. We now represent a wide variety of grocery stores. We've got the large national chains, but we've also got the independents, large and small, mom and pops, convenience stores, you name it, they're probably a part of our association. The great part about this program is there is such diversity in it. There is something for everybody. Every category of grocers can participate. I think we're off to the right start with the independents and moving that forward as we launch our first stores. But as the program evolves, I really do think that there's a place for everybody. Now, part of what CGA does on behalf of our members is advocacy. So I can't tell you how many conversations I have had with elected officials, community leaders, on what's happening in their communities. You can go to almost any elected official and they can tell you, on the corner of so-and-so, we lost our grocery store and there's nobody there anymore. And they are that involved and they have that sort of knowledge. And what are you going to do about it, grocers? So we have had these conversations for many years, but we have not had a program like this. And I'm really proud to be a part of this partnership. Thank you all for inviting us here and being part of the program. And we look forward to many, many years to come. Thanks, Tina.
Thank you, Ron. And now I'd like to introduce Mary Lee, Associate Director with Policy Link, an organization whose work on food access issues has really led the nation in forging national policy on this issue and who's really helped make the FreshWorks Fund possible. Thank you.
Well, I'm thrilled to be here this evening, and a really exciting opportunity for all of us. And I think we should not at all feel eclipsed by what happened at the White House, because what's happening here today is a tremendous culmination of hard work and effort, and I'm delighted that I've been able to be involved in it from the very beginning. Policy Link is a national advocacy organization, and we advocate and focus on economic and social justice, and particularly on equity. And what I wanted to stress this evening is that the effort here today with FreshWorks is part of an array of innovative efforts that are underway across the country. Probably the first fresh food financing initiative started in Pennsylvania, and that was the model that the federal government has used in its Healthy Food Financing Initiative, which is a component of the First Lady's advocacy efforts and has found its way into the federal government budget and policy strategies as it addresses the issue of food deserts across the country. But there are other efforts underway across the country, and so we should be proud to be a part of this wave. Places like New York and Illinois and Louisiana, just to mention a few, are some of those. But FreshWorks not only links to those efforts, it's really a trailblazer because it's incorporating philanthropy and the business community and leadership by community residents and their advocates in a way, in a manner that really is not being undertaken in any of these other efforts. But along with FreshWorks, all of these strategies are really amounting to a paradigm shift. We're seeing not just a shift in the retail grocery business model, but in the manner in which we redress long-standing disparities in food access and ultimately in the physical health both of residents and the economic vitality of the neighborhoods that they live in. So FreshWorks for us represents a wonderful example of what we call a triple bottom line. It's doing well, doing good, and advancing equity. And again, we're just going to be so excited with Lark and others to see the first stores open and see the change in the quality of life in the communities in South Los Angeles and the rest of California that have waited for this for a very long time. Congratulations.